Okay, so this tutorial is going to go through the use of the Luminaire generating script, and then also going to cover the analysis script, so we can basically go through everything for the Luminaire in one fell swoop. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and start with the Luminaire here. We have a modeled tile here. We have this guy as a polysurface. Close, we'll select close polysurface. You can see that he gets selected, so we can go ahead and do that. Now we need to and I've gone through how to model that in other demos, so I'm not going to go through that too much. This should look relatively familiar. And so what we can do is we'll go ahead and I've modeled two surfaces here, or two curve frameworks for surfaces. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of using the offset tool and generating derivative surfaces, we're going to model two surfaces, and those are going to generate the luminaire here. So I'm going to go ahead and loft this, select this interior surface. And you can see the seam is right there. So hit loft. So that's going to be our interior drive surface. And then we'll go ahead and select these in order and repeat that and hit loft. Now when you do this, you want to make sure, and I've already, if I hit undo here, when I was doing this, each one of these guys, that seam right here that this is drawing, we can adjust that by clicking and dragging on that. And that will have an impact on whether or not the curve is there. You want that seam to basically align between the drive surface and the resulting guy here. And so I'm going to go ahead and essentially just click on this point and drag it over so that we can get this to match as best as possible. And you can eyeball this. This is just going to make our mapping work a little bit better. So we hit enter and we can see now we have our interior drive surface and our exterior surface. Alright, at this point we're ready to go ahead and pull up monkey. You can type monkey, or you can go ahead and just pull it up. And we go ahead and you can see I already have the Luminaire script ready to go. Instead of what I've done previously of using the mesh version of this, I'm going to go ahead and just use the polysurface. And the reason for that is that we're going to want to utilize that for some of the diagrams that we're going to want to generate down the road. If we have meshes, it's going to make a really slovenly set of geometries, and we want to render that out. So I'm going to go ahead and just set that up. And so we'll go ahead and run this script. Select the first surface. Select the second surface. And you'll note that this is all working very similarly to the previous version. So then we hit the number of units. And now we're going to go ahead and be building this geometry out. And it's going to again run relatively slowly. You can see it's turning to build underneath. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this to turn off the redraw. If possible. There it goes. You can see I've been going through and trying to explore some of the Rhino render stuff. Alright, so now it's done. Go ahead and minimize. This is going to be a very, very, very heavy model, so it's important that we pay attention to that. And that's why it's creating this render mesh. Okay. And she comes back. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this and, actually, because I have stuff on other layers, I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. Call this layer stuff. We'll just select all of this and put it on that layer. Set that as our active. Pull this up. I'll go ahead and turn off these other layers here for now. Well, we'll leave that on for now. Alright, and so now we can go ahead and actually start hiding this. This should give you a relatively clear sense about what we're doing here. Alright, so in addition to doing this, you guys are going to have to model some of the interior things. But doing it in this way, you can see that we start to exaggerate some of the geometries that we've been developing in some of the other previous versions of this. Okay, and you'll note that how slow this is running. Go ahead and select CRV here and lock those into place. But essentially, that's how you're going to go ahead and run the script. From there, what you're going to do for the analysis version, we're going to go ahead and you're going to create a cylinder around the luminaire And I want you guys to try and get this around 1 inch all the way around, and I'll let you guys actually measure that. Then we're going to go ahead and extrude that curve. I'm going to turn off the solid component of this, and we want this to generally be about the height of our guy, give or take here. About 1 inch in either direction as well. So we have 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch all the way around. Alright, and now we need a point source for our light here. So go ahead and I'm going to assume that our light bulb is going to be right here, and you can see it floating in our guy. Now you should actually model this interior surface around what you think the light fixture is going to be, and then put that a safe distance away so you're not going to be destroying, creating fires and things like that in your light. Those are parameters that I'm not going to cover in this, but these are things that you should be aware of when you're actually designing some of these products. Okay. All right, so now we have the raw materials that we need to run the analysis. So I'm going to go ahead again and type out monkey, or I'll just pull this back up because it's minimized down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up the fixture evaluation. Okay, so for the fixture evaluation, we need to actually get some stuff set up ahead of time here. So I'm going to go ahead and select the poly surfaces because this is actually going to use meshes to do that. So select poly surfaces. I'm going to go ahead and just mesh them. And go ahead, and I don't want this to be incredibly complex, as this wasn't incredibly complex to begin with. Let's go ahead and mesh those. Okay, that's done. I'm going to go ahead and select the poly surfaces now and hide them. Now we just have the meshes here. Okay. Okay, and so now we can go ahead and run the fixture evaluation script. I'm going to have to email you guys a revised version of this. The package included an earlier version that was not working properly. Alright, so we'll go ahead and run this script, the new one. Select the origin, select the drive surface, and then we select the geometry for the luminaire. And we're going to do 100 by 100. And you can see it is now drawing vectors from that source. Okay, and through the miracle of time-lapse, you guys can see that we've gone ahead and done and completed all of our evaluation stuff in here. You can see that this version of this does two things. It creates a graphic that is in the round, and then it also creates a graphic that is unrolled so you guys can actually start to render that out. Alright, and then so from here what we can do is we can just take a screen capture and we can take out, this is going to ultimately be one of the diagrams here, so I'm going to go ahead and show. Okay. For one of the diagrams, you're going to basically be taking a screen capture of your two guys in space. So we'll see the unrolled representation, and we'll also see that. So we'll just hit print screen, and then you can take that into Photoshop and create an image out of that.